Assalamu alaikum everyone, and in this video we are going to talk about the basic anatomy of human eye. Human eye consists of three layers. First layer is the fibrous layer that consists of cornea, sclera and limbus. Second layer, which is middle layer, and it is called as uvea also. It consists of iris, choroid and ciliary body. And third layer is retina. Let's talk about the first layer. But before going on that, this is the book that I've been using and it's very simple, Renu Jogi 6th edition. Here are the three layers that I told you, and this is the first layer. You will be able to understand this more clearly with the help of this. Sclera, lumbus and a cornea, choroid, ciliary body and iris makes the vascular layer. And the third, this is retina. It consists of optic disc, macula. This is the inner neural layer. Okay, so let's move on to our first layer. First layer is a fibrous layer. It consists of cornea and sclera and limbus. What is limbus? Limbus is a junction between the cornea and sclera. The black boundary that you see in your eye is limbus. Here it's not very clear, but you can see in your eye. Cornea makes 1/6. It covers 1/6 portion of your eyeball, and sclera covers 5/6 portion of your eyeball. So it means that this is eyeball. When you divide your eyeball into 6 parts, 5/6 will be covered by sclera and 1/6 will be covered by cornea. Cornea is transparent as it covers your iris and pupil. Okay, and what is sclera? Sclera is a white portion on your eyeball. It covers 5/6 as I already told you, and it is covered by conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is a transparent layer on sclera. So that's what conjunctiva is. Now let's move on to the second layer, which is uvea, and it consists of iris, choroid and ciliary body. This is the iris, which is a color part of our eye and different in different peoples, and ciliary body that release the aqueous humor, and choroid the highly vascular part here. Now retina. Retina consists of macula, optic disc and the optic nerve, which is the second cranial nerve, and it is responsible for our sight, like what we see. All right, now let's go into some detail of these structures. Anterior segment and posterior segment. If you divide your eye into two parts, if you are going to imagine that your eye is divided into two segments, then it will be like this. Anterior segment, this, and the posterior segment is this. Now you might got question in your exam that what part of eye separates the anterior segment and the posterior segment. That part is this lens. Okay, now this is the anterior segment and this is the posterior segment. Anterior segment is further divided into the posterior chamber and the anterior chamber. The anterior chamber is between the cornea and the iris, and the posterior chamber is between the iris and the lens. Now, what is present in this anterior chamber, in this space? The fluid which is called as aqueous humor. Let's move on our posterior segment. Posterior segment, which consists of retina, choroid, optic nerve head and a vitreous humor. Now vitreous humor is also a fluid which is present in the posterior segment of our eye. So the fluid which is present in the posterior segment of eye is a vitreous humor. Now you might be thinking, what is this structure? This is a lamina fibrosa structure. It's a sieve-like structure, and here is the optic disc. Here, as from optic disc, the optic nerve leaves the eye. It passes through this lamina fibrosa. Macula is a small sensitive area in the center of retina, and it is responsible for the sharp vision. So that's all the basic anatomy of human eye. Now, in order to clear your some concepts, if you might feel like it's not clear, this is the sclera, ciliary body and iris. This is the interior of eyeball consisting of the aqueous humor, lens and the vitreous. And that's how the optic nerve enters and leaves your eyes. And here are some other accessories related to eye. So that's all for this video.